let's get started.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to FusionLore, the podcast where we dive deep into the lore of FusionFall. We explore every mission 30 minutes at a time to piece together the story and uncover what's really going on, and we speculate like we've never done before. I'm Matt, also known as Oris, and as always, with our merchant of supernatural descent, the magical dealer. Say hello.
Boo! Did I scare you? Did I scare somebody? I hope I scared somebody.
I'm more surprised. Anyway, what would you like to start us off with today's episode?
Matt, I feel like today we should start off light. Every episode in the past couple of stints, we've started with heavy topics, and then we spend the majority of the episode talking about those heavy topics. We got some heavy topics to talk about today, granted, but let's save those kind of towards the end. I want to start with the mayor's assistant, because what the hell is this? What the hell is this mission line? I've said before that Blossom has not proven herself as a hero in this world to me, because she wanted us to go figure out some stuff about picnics. She wanted us to destroy bugs so she could have a picnic. Now I'm starting to understand why she feels that way, because she sends us to go talk to the mayor when the mayor wanted us so we could open a jar of pickles for him. And she says, oh, I remember when I used to do that for him. So this is just a normal for her. This is the regular smuggling, bro. She is just like, yeah, the mayor calls you, open his pickles. Don't you do that? Don't you just go help people open pickles? It's adding up, Matt. It's adding up. No wonder she doesn't give a shit about what's going on around
There's no sense of responsibility.
God, let me just stop saving the world to come open your jar of pickles. And the mayor is stupid too. Because
no, he is. He is. But that's not the worst part. I think it's just the expectation that these are supposed to be superpowered beings. And somehow they find themselves in the proper areas where they're doing the right thing. But most of the time they're doing ridiculous stuff that probably was reinforced when they were younger.
They are still younger. How old are the Powerpuff Girls? Like 9?
Yeah, but I'm saying in this universe, I would assume they're probably a couple years older, but it makes sense that they're like, oh, I remember those missions.
I'll give them 14 at the most. 14.
I think that's very generous, honestly. But regardless of whatever may be going on, that is a ridiculous mission line. Not to mention, that was one of 2 mission lines where we had to pick and open up pickles for the mayor. Luckily, we got them both done at the same exact time. For some reason, notarizing something requires a little bit of bribery on the mayor's part.
No, and then the mayor was like, this better not be a document where I'm signing away the city. If I do that for the 3rd time this week, I'll get in trouble. Why is this man the mayor? Why is this man the mayor? In the shared world of Cartoon Network characters where they all have the same history, they all live in the same world, there are other people in this city, I know, that we haven't met all of them yet, but we ran into Grandpa Max, and he's staying in the city. He is more capable to be the mayor than the mayor.
Absolutely. That man has so much experience dealing with politics, especially politics of varying descents of extraterrestrial
origin.
Descent. Yes, thank you. Origin. But basically that mission line where I mentioned what I wanted to spiral into just a little bit, because it was another ridiculous mission line where we had to go talk to the mayor.
Are you talking
when
about the
Harry
keys?
met Larry.
Oh, you're talking about Larry. I thought you were talking about the keys.
No, the keys is its own thing. That is just stupid for me. But what's even more stupid is the fact that we had a mission line where Coop literally just told us to tell Larry he isn't cool. And Larry was so offended. That man was heartbroken that he was like, no, I am 100% cool. First of all, I need you to go get me a certificate. We went to Eddie, got him a certificate, because that's so legit. Then we brought it back to him, and he was like, you know something? Maybe we need someone with a governmental background to notarize this, so I'm known as the coolest person in this timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So we go over there, and we get it notarized. and at the behest of bribing the mayor with a pickle, mind you, we go over there, we get it notarized, and we bring it all the way back just to find out that
it's not even for him.
It's not even for him, and it's notarized.
It's for Gary 300.
Gary 300. So, hey, listen to all you FusionFall players out there. If you want to be the coolest guy in this timeline, make sure your name is Gary 300, because that man is the coolest man ever. And every time someone gets a mission for this line, you'll just have another certificate on your side. Anyway.
Gary 300.
I think that is the stupidest thing ever. The stupidest mission so far.
It is
for this mission.
Well, buddy. Let's not forget the mission we did for Toilinator.
Okay, but Toilinator is his own breed of stupid.
Because right, we go to is it Toilinator's tomfoolery? Alliteration is so hard. Okay, Toilinator's tomfoolery. Where he's like, I know how to stick in the fuse. I'm going to show him that I'm the most dangerous person he needs to watch out for. Go kill those mosquitoes, take their stingers, stick them in the toilet, and then when Fuse's monsters have to use the restroom, they get a fucking needle up their ass. Why would they, one Toilinator, why would the monsters be using an outhouse if they use the restroom at all? Two, Toilinator, yes. Why would they be using our outhouse to go to the restroom? They're gonna come behind enemy lines to use the restroom and leave themselves vulnerable? That's what you think that's gonna happen?
Listen, and not to mention the fact that it's in an outhouse and he never warned anyone.
Right? Because we set it up. What's stopping one of our friends from like, man, I really got to go to the restroom, and they sit on the needle
where the sun don't shine.
Matt, not only getting poked, those needles on those mosquitoes were like the size of like 2 baseball bats taped together. It's a big ass needle. You are getting
hurt.
Unconceivable damage done to your body if you go sit on one of those. You want to talk about stupid missions?
Horrifying. Listen, I just don't know how long, or how I don't know how the Toilinator survived this long. Okay, first of all, he's stupid.
Very.
He has no real imagination.
No.
He's just existing, bothering and hindering people. As a matter of fact, he was in the progress of just colluding with Fusion Boo until he got caught, and then he made up an excuse on the fly. The man needs to retire. He needs to give up, first of all, being evil, first and foremost. He's not very good at it. And secondly, he needs to give up in general of being the Toilinator. He is not helping anyone but himself. Just his weird ego.
Wait. I've had an epiphany. I'm sorry.
What's the epiphany?
I've had an epiphany. Oh,
I'll hear you out.
No, Matt. No, I might have just justified Toilinator's actions. No, Matt. All right, we're going to get into the heavy stuff, folks. We're going to get into. Okay, so we did a 6-part mission line, and this we didn't say, but we're doing the level 11 missions, level 12 missions,
level 12
missions. Beautification Organization, where
oh my goodness,
Billy gets told by a fusion, which I hate to see it. I was just propping him up the last episode about Billy being able to tell the difference. But hey, maybe he still could tell the difference, because the fusion was like, I'll give you $5 for every fusion poster you take down. And maybe Billy just wanted the money. He was like, $20. Hell yeah.
He was blinded by he's blinded by greed. It's a terrible thing.
Anyway, we have to go like take these posters down, but we find out the posters mysteriously go right back up after we've taken them down. So then Billy has us paint over them, all for it to be Wilt comes and tells us like, oh, hey, we imaginary friends, we put those posters up to demoralize the fusions, which the poster just says refuse and has a fusion spawn in it. I don't know what that means. I don't know
just
what that
think
means.
It's like, I think it's just a propaganda poster that they made, and it doesn't really matter what is on it, but I think it's the intention behind the imaginary friends putting up the posters using their unintentional imaginary energy to have the intended effects of what the posters were put up for.
No, I agree with you, and that's where I'm going. Like, I think what is on the poster doesn't matter. I think it is the intention that behind the poster is what mattered. They imagine that these posters that they put up would demoralize the fusions. And then we find out from Professor Utonium while we're doing this that it is actually making the fusions weaker. So much so that when we painted over them at the heads of Billy, the fusions were getting stronger because they couldn't see the posters anymore.
As a matter of fact, Professor contacted us. It's like, whatever you're doing, stop. Like, whenever you're finished, can you rush over here? Because as we were painting over the posters, like shit started hitting the fan. Apparently, like one poster down, and Professor immediately noticed it, and he was like, "Whoa, okay, I need your help. Like something's going on." And then we find out about the Beautification Organization, all that nonsense. But it's fascinating to know that they're monitoring everything to that extent where as soon as we did one little thing, he's like, yo, okay, they're immediately starting to like ramp up their shit. Like they started getting booby traps ready. They were attacking the school. It was insane.
Right. But before we get into that, just to finish what I was saying,
of course,
this just proves that if you just want something to work against a fusion enough, it will, because they wanted these posters to hurt the feelings of these fusions and it made them weaker. So us going and get the stingers and putting them in the toilet and the Toilinator being like, this is really going to hurt the fusions. That probably worked too. Are they going to make it to those toilets? I don't know. But them just being there and him imagining and like, yes, this will hurt fuse probably worked.
Listen, I will say, okay, maybe that works with other characters. But the problem with Toilinator is that wasn't the only mission line we had from him. And there's something that directly right after that completely shoots that out of the water from Toilinator and giving him any credibility to begin with. The mission line where we are putting together his Plunger of Doom.
The Imaginary Fusion.
Part 3. Imaginary Fusion Part 3, we put together Toilinator's The Plunger of Doom, and we bring it over to Foster's home as an attempt to get Fusion Blue out of the restroom. And he tells us, hey, just put it right up to the door and it will work its magic. We try to use it. Okay, fine. He's like, you just didn't use it right, you know?
But no,
you just didn't use it right.
I think we didn't use it right. Because this is Toilinator's Plunger of Doom. So, like, in this world where it is proven that those who are strong with imagination can do things out of this world, like repel aliens, maybe if he used it, knowing his intention behind the plunger, it would have worked. He just gave it to us, and we don't even know what it is. So maybe we didn't use it right.
Well, okay, I can say, yeah, maybe we didn't use it right. But for us to be such a powerhouse of imagination and him telling us that it should work, maybe there was some faith there. But how exactly is us putting the stingers inside of the toilets going to truly do anything, especially if he wasn't the one placing them himself with the intention of them working?
Well, he instructed us what to do. He didn't tell us what to do to plunger. He just told us to put it on the door and it would work. We don't know what else is going to happen as to where with the stingers, he gave us a full explanation on what he thought was going to happen. His full belief of what was going to go down. The plunger, just put it on the door. What next? What's supposed to happen? Why is it on the door? I don't know what I'm doing.
He says, use the Plunger of Doom on the front door and flush out the fusion. We do it? Hey, it didn't work. So, I don't know.
We don't know what we're doing.
And he told us the Plunger of Doom could do amazing things. Too bad that you didn't use it right.
It probably
better be
can
careful.
do amazing things. We're not done with the mission line, so we're gonna get more information on it. We still have 2 more to go before we figure out what's going on with the Plunger of Doom and Fusion Blue and Foster's.
Well, regardless of such, I still think that man needs to retire. He's way past his prime, and truthfully, like I said, did
he have a prime?
Truly hindering. I don't think he ever did. Well, whatever his prime was, it is long gone and forgotten. So he needs to retire. You know, put up the toilet seat, hang it up, and just move on.
The toilet seat.
He needs to move on, all right?
Put up the toilet seat and flush it down.
Yep. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. real quick before we move on, because we touched on Charles Darwin, and I want to talk about it so I don't forget it, because I might not talk about it ever again. Charles Darwin is the most infected zone we have been to in this entire game so far. Out of every infected zone, this is the most infected. It literally had a moat of fusion matter around it. And I took this as to mean, is this what happens when we fail to stop gooby traps? Is what the land becomes, just a sea of fusion matter? And I say that because in the future, there was just an ocean of fusion matter around the entire world where we had to build bridges just to get back to certain places that was connected by land.
Yeah.
It's crazy to see it. Like, I've been to this infected zone so many times playing a game, and I've never thought about it before, but it's crazy to see it with my own eyes and like put the pieces together.
Have the perspective that you have now and just be like, holy shit, wait, that looks bad.
It's so bad.
First of all, the original school is a street front. So that moat is huge. That's like more than just the street front. And whatever pathway that was there.
Confusion matter.
But speaking on that, it makes me think, like, if that's what the like you said, if that's what the gooby traps do, so it makes me wonder if the fusion matter in itself just supercharges the matter in the area when it explodes with fusion matter and converts it to whatever is readily available. So maybe there was a whole bunch of gooby traps and it just converted because remember, I'm saying that was a flat area with a path at one point.
Mm-hmm.
The gooby traps exploded, and then all of a sudden now it's a lake of fusion matter. Like, that's matter converted from solids to liquid. That's insane.
And we know it's gooby traps because I can't remember the exact mission. But Professor Utonium sends us back over there. It might be a part of Beautification Organization, whatever. And he specifically is like, the terrafusing efforts at what's the school called? Habitat Homes or whatever. Charles Darwin.
Charles Darwin.
Yeah, the terrafusing efforts at Charles Darwin have gotten out of control. It's so dangerous there. Please go stop the gooby traps before it gets even worse.
Yes. And that's just okay. First of all, that's insane that they got that many off. And it makes sense that those posters were placed around there, because I couldn't imagine what the infected zone might look like if those posters weren't, absolutely destroying the morale of Fuse's army.
Would it just be a hole? Just a hole?
Just a hole. This is where Charles Darwin used to be. Speaking of which, the mission line from Bobby Baboon was hilarious to me.
Okay.
And the Darwin rewards. So I think it was, let's see, what was it? Part 2 of the Darwin Awards. He's like, so Fusion number 3 wants to turn the school's cafeteria into a fuse goo processing plant, which I, don't exactly understand, but that seems bad. And he's like, lunch is bad enough as it is, but he lets us know where they're hiding, and if you can recover a key from the Motorillas, you can go in there and break in, and you can stop Fusion number 3 from doing whatever she was planning on doing.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you're done with the mission, he's like, thank you. Now we can go to school again. He's like, wait a minute. What have you done? That's absolutely hilarious to me. That's the funniest mission I've seen. Like, the irony in it all. Like, you sent me on a mission to help the problem, and then you realize, wait a minute, it was benefiting me.
Buddy, I didn't
have to go to school.
I don't think you're going to school regardless. That giant fusion matter lake is still out there. Your entire school is still in an infected zone.
Yeah.
You're not going to. In fact, actually, we did 2 missions for Dracula where he wanted us to go to Disney World and put a whoopee cushion on a roller coaster to prank Blue, because Blue pranked Dracula with a whoopee cushion in his rocking chair. My very first thought reading this was, why is Disney World open? It's an infected zone. There are fusions running all around the carnival or amusement park or whatever it is. Why is it open? And I'm like, okay, maybe we're going to do this mission, and Dracula's going to be like, wait a minute, it's closed. Never mind, come back. His dementia setting in again. But then we go through everything in the mission, even fighting the dynamite mice in that mission to put the whoopee cushion on the seat, because Dracula's like, the dynamite mice are going to sit on the seat. You got to kill them first. Just for us to go turn the mission back into Dracula and have Blue call us and be like, why did you put my whoopee cushion on the roller coaster? I know it was you. Why is Blue in the infected zone riding the roller coaster? We know no one else is there.
Hold on, you skimmed over the fact that Blue is so aware of what's going on. He's like, I know it was you because you're the only one who ever does anything.
Yeah, him and Dracula, they know what's going on.
Thank you.
They know what's going on.
Thank you for that recognition, man. Now, they really do. They really do. Dracula's like, I see you doing everyone else's shit. I need some shit done. Blue is like, I know you do everything. I know you placed it here. I'm coming for you.
Is this another real world parallel where it doesn't matter if you shut something down, people will go if they want to go? Like the same way that people like go explore haunted houses or condemn places or shut down factories. Like, are people still just going into infected zones because they think they can do whatever they want, or they want to have fun, or they want to record something here or after, whatever they want to do? They're just going regardless. Because Blue is very much of that attitude of like, I do what I want whenever I want, and I'll face the consequences later.
I think with the exception of Blue at the very least, I know Blue has a very shaky track record of just doing whatever he wants, whenever he wants. But with the exception of him being an imaginary friend and being able to enter and exit that infected zone on the speculation that because he's an imaginary friend, and this is the kind of shit he would just do anyway, he has some sort of immunity inside of these infected zones. However, I would like to think there are many infected zones that are still very, by every implication of the word, in some operable order and still have access to many different people.
Wait, I just remembered something. No, when we are in the future, there are 5 missing heroes on that statue. 4 of them make sense. You know, you remember who the 5th was?
Wait.
It was Blue. Blue was on that missing hero statue. That's why he went missing. He just wanted to go to that theme park one too many times.
You know something? That infected zone was really screwed. First of all, the terrafuger on the side of that, I wouldn't put it past him that he got stuck into some trouble, and that's why he's missing. As a matter of fact, actually, speaking on missing heroes, let's talk about the hero draining, the powers.
Oh yeah, I'm happy to talk about Blossom being useless. I'm happy to talk about Blossom being useless.
Oh my god, what was it? This
the
was
Doppelganger Gang or the Nanomission.
Doppelganger Gang. Okay. Yes. Okay. So Him tells us that we have to go into Him's lair, and there's some implication that Him's fusion is gathering underlings, and I think it's based on just personality wise, because he's a demon from another dimension, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's just his ordeal. He's like, I need some minions to get my bidding done. Anyway, we go to Fusion Him's lair. The infected zone is horrible, and that was, of course, Charles Darwin infected zone, and Blossom got jumped by Fusion Him.
Jumped and captured.
Yeah, and captured. We go rescue her, and apparently the trap was draining her energy. So that means Fuse has the tech to drain powers from Powerpuff Girls, and I'm going to add on to that and say Fuse is starting to get technology that can take the energy from heroes in order to make an attempt to capture them so he could twist the war in his favor.
I'm going to add on to that and say that Blossom gave us the only piece of useful information she's ever told us, where it was like, Fuse is capturing superheroes. He's focusing on superheroes. But and this makes sense because unlike Nanos, who are just inherently strong against fusions no matter what, due to the imagination energy that they are created with, fusions are just spawns with a creation item. So
Right.
you want to prioritize which creation items you're getting because it seems like the fusions have traits of whoever they turn into. So if I was Fuse, I would definitely be getting the smartest people I can find to make strategies for me, the strongest people I could find so they can fight for me, and so on and so on. So it makes sense that he's gathering superheroes to make fusions of them.
Of course. I mean, like the very prospect of it is that the fact that he has the technology now to start doing this to them is kind of insane to me. Like we're at this point in the war where we got to be careful of the characters we're running into, because it makes sense now that number 5 was very, very worn out after fighting Fusion Father at one point. So now it makes sense as to probably why. And maybe it's more than just taking power from superpowered people. Maybe it can also somewhat take power from people and imaginary friends to an extent, because why else is Blue missing?
You know, I would say he got this technology from Fusion Professor Utonium, because we fought Fusion Professor Utonium multiple times now, and being the creator of the Powerpuff Girls, I would think he would also understand how to drain their power.
You know, something that makes a lot more sense too, but also on the same spectrum, we did fight. Who was it? Computers and Dexter, Fusion Dexter and Fusion Computers, because they broke into Dexter's old lab. So I want to say, on to that extent, if they have Fusion Dexter and Fusion Computers, it's not out of this world to believe that if they were able to make their own unstable nano based on the last mission, last episode that we just talked about, it wouldn't be out of this world for them to be able to somehow figure out a way to capture imaginary friends and effectively neutralize them from the fight.
Absolutely. This is the benefit of being able to make fusions of our heroes. We're kind of working with the same information. Oh, you know, actually, we don't have that much time. I gotta talk about it, or we might not ever talk about it again. So right. We did part 2 of the Megas memory mission, where we find out where the hard drives he was stealing from Megas were for the Glorf, which have fought Fuse before and won. They won. They defeated Fuse. Now, Matt and I were having conversations about this before we recorded, because there's some
storyline and the lore implications,
shenanigans going on with this, because I will say I've recently just started watching Mega SRLR to understand what's going on, to better understand the lore in this game. The Glorf are from 1,000 years into the future.
Right.
So when exactly did they fight Fuse? The Glorf in the future? No, because it says the Glorf home planet was attacked by Fuse and they won. So is this a future Fuse? The one that won in the future that we came from, where the Earth was pretty much basically destroyed, that fought the Glorf and lost? Or is this a different timeline Fuse that fought the Glorf and lost? It's really confusing, because when you look at it deeper, we talked to Grandpa Max about it, and Grandpa Max knows about the Glorf. Now, does he know about the Glorf now because they've come from the future and are now here? Because they come back to 2004. We don't know what time it is. And FusionFall now, is it current year, the time of the game release? Because that's 2006 or 2009, one of those. It really confuses me.
Okay, so hold on. Wasn't the tidbit information that the information that they fought the Glorf and won, that came from Megas's hard drive?
Yes.
So that was from the future.
Yes.
Okay, so knowing this is so Fuse was there in the future. That means in our own timeline, right before everything got scattered and out of place, we got sent back to the past to now be fighting against Fuse to turn the tides against him. So that's one time travel. So the other time travel is Megas coming from the future after they defeated Fuse from an invasion, and and then that also having information on Fuse and all that nonsense. So that's a second timeline now intertwining with this one, and also Larry 3000 from the Time Squad tried coming back. So that's a third one because this isn't in the timeline specifically.
Oh, my brain is starting to hurt.
Yeah, this is a little crazy.
So we have
to speak on that
3 separate timelines. We have just to put it down on a piece of paper. We have a downfall timeline, which is where we came from, the future where Fuse won.
Okay, yes.
Then we have a Larry 3000 timeline where that's the timer. Okay, we'll finish talking about this and then we'll end. We have a Larry 3000 Time Squad timeline because he comes from a future where this invasion didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a third timeline now where Fuse fought the Glorf and lost. Actually, I just thought about it. We got this information from Megas. And I was trying to figure out if he fought them in the past or if he fought them in the future. But Megas wasn't built until the year 3000 whatever. So Fuse had to fight the Glorf in the future. And then he got sent back to the past and we have this information.
Mind you, also the lore implications in Megas is that Megas wasn't built until a couple of years after the war started in Megas's own timeline, of course. So they're fighting the year 3035, and they're fighting. So the Glorf makes Megas to turn the tides. Megas gets captured by the humans. The humans are like, okay, now we're gonna use this to fight you. But then the Glorf is like, nah, that's not with us. So they fight them. They destroy, what was it? They destroy their moon base or whatever it was. And then one of the humans is like, okay, I need to send this back into the past. But because of the Glorf's attack,
she messes up and sends it too far into the past.
The Glorf destroys the cockpit. It goes back too far into the past to the year 2004. That's where Coop finds it. So, okay, maybe Megas has a bigger implication in this story than we would like to believe. Because why exactly so if Larry's saying that this war was never supposed to happen because Fuse never came here in the history of the timeline, what if by proxy of Megas being sent back, it's somehow like, what if there was a piece of Fuse left?
What?
And that got sent back.
You're so right.
It got sent back with Megas. And the reason why we are fighting Fuse right now instead of Fuse fighting the Glorfs is because Fuse sensed himself across the universe and was like, I want to go there.
Is Megas the exact reason we're fighting Fuse? That it kind of adds up. I can't fight that logic. Not even if it's just like a piece of Fuse being on Megas, but being that Megas had information on Fuse in the first place. Could that information existing in this time period where it wasn't originally brought Fuse here
influence the timeline?
Yo.
Megas's arrival in the past influenced the timeline so much so that the timeline's so screwed. And that's why we're able to break that paradox of being sent into the past to fight someone.
Time travel gets so complicated.
What?
I hope this is the last time traveler we meet. I can't think if there's anybody else who time travels.
I don't know. I'm kind of excited for more time travel shit because imagine we get more pieces that fit into this puzzle.
More time travel. There's too many timelines as it is.
But we need more. We need more puzzle pieces. We need to piece this together.
That doesn't mean another time travel is going to help us solve it. It's only going to complicate it more.
Listen, I don't care. I just want more information. I need to piece this together because this is starting to make sense to me in a way that didn't speak to me before.
I understand what you're saying. I definitely hear what you're saying. It's making sense. It's clicking. But let's try to figure out what we have now before they introduce another time traveler. Luckily, we're in Retribution, which doesn't have the only other time travel that I can think of, which is Paradox from Ben 10. And unless they add him, because then we're going to have to talk about time travel again. Okay. Well, on that
Jesus.
note, this has been another episode of FusionLore. That wraps up this episode. A huge thanks to our production team, Radio Wave, Ben Tin Dog, Lucia L, for all their help in making the show possible. Be sure to check out the socials linked in the show notes below.
If you want to take a look at some sneak peeks, you can follow us on the socials. We sometimes post there, give updates, whatever the case might be. But hey, if you want to join our community Discord, link is in the description. You can voice your opinions there if you like to. If you don't want to, you could just hang out, whatever the case might be.
And don't forget to subscribe or follow the podcast on your favorite platforms so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed the show, consider leaving us a review. It helps us a lot and lets more fans find the FusionFall podcast.
Oh, Jesus. Hey, guys, listen, just be careful. Time travel's a bitch.
Stay away from time travel. If anybody offers you any type of time travel, stay away from it. It's going to complicate your life.
If anything, if fiction has taught you anything, it's to stay away from time travel at all costs.
God.
Oh, Jesus.
See you next time. Bye.
See you next time, guys. Good luck. Don't listen, if you run into a time traveler, don't speak to him.
My work is done.